Joining me this morning, Jan Church, and also Kathy Ezone, who's, did I pronounce your last name right?
Yes.
Okay. Who've been here before. They were here a few weeks ago, and give a little bit of an update for us. Kathy, I'm going to turn it over to you right now and explain to us what has transpired over the last several months, and we're trying to get the word out there for the people.
Right. Well, I checked with the libraries the last time we were here. We were going to take the information to the libraries, and we do have that packet, and this is what you would need to go to the library and get. And it's a blue form, and on the back it already has the address labels to who you send it to. And if you just put a personal note on the bottom there and make sure, the very important thing is to make sure that you have a return address so that they'll even read it. The other thing is they still have forms, the letter forms that you just fill out the envelope and put your personal note at the bottom of the letter and mail those out. They're still taking those also. The library said they did have a push on it after the last show we were on, but it's calmed down. So if anyone hasn't gotten their packet yet and would like to, the library still have them, and we'll make copies.
That's the County Public Library.
And the Kingsville Library also.
Okay.
So, and then we...
You have to explain exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
The possibly closing of Ashcraft.
Yes, to go back to, yes, why we're here is the federal government has decided that they do not want to give funds anymore to the workshops, and they are trying to close Ashcraft and all the workshops in Ohio. And we had a luncheon at Ashcraft where John Martin, who is the director of the disabilities, came and met with several people. We had about 7 parents there speaking with their stories and telling their experiences with the consumers working out in the public. And after the meeting, he listened to all of our stories, and after the meeting, he still is wanting to move forward with closing of the workshops. Now, they tell us that, we're going to have maybe a 5-year window, but we can't wait till the last minute to try to do something to fight this.
Right.
So we have been going to meetings with the state of Ohio. We've got different groups coming in that have been working with us from the CMS, which Jan can tell us what CMS stands for.
That's the Center for Medicaid Services, and for people with disabilities that receive a waiver through Medicaid services. That's where the federal government is coming in on this, and they're saying that we need to provide more choices for people with disabilities, that a sheltered workshop environment is not, they're calling it a segregated setting, along with, besides just the workshops, it's group homes too that they're targeting. They're calling them segregated settings. So they're saying if you're taking federal money, we want to be able to tell you how you can use that money. And we believe that we do provide choices at our workshop. We believe that through a process of years of working together with the community, that we do have choices for people, and we want to remain a choice for individuals with disabilities.
Why suddenly do they get on this this rant that it's segregated and all that sort of stuff? Is there an answer to that?
I think, like I had said before, I think it goes back to, a lot of it has to do with wanting to privatize things. The county boards are what you would call a taxpayer-run program. And there are people that are adverse to taxes being used for county, state, government type programs. So I think that's a slice of it. But I think that people in Washington and some in Columbus that aren't involved with individuals with disability, they believe they know what's best. And what Kathy and I have seen going to some of the forums that we've been to is that parents and families and people with disabilities, they want to be able to make their own choices and what's important to them. So as we went to forums, and we went to one last Thursday night in Cleveland, in Independence, Ohio, it was jam-packed. It was a large room, and they were going over the plan that they're going to submit to the federal government that says this is what we want to do to meet your demands. So we go, and it was standing room only. I mean, it was people were lined up out into the hallway. And what we heard over and over again from parents and people with disabilities was they want the workshops to remain a choice. They want to be able to, if they want to go in the community, have the supports from the county board and the workshops to get there. But if they don't want to work in the community, or they can't, they want to be able to go to the workshops. And it was, I have to say, I thought it was pretty moving.
It was very intense.
Yes.
And we had one girl that stood up and spoke, and she does work at a workshop, and she had had several jobs out in the community, and she was bullied, and they were made fun of her, and they didn't treat her very nicely, and she was very upset that the workshops may be closing, and she didn't know what else to do because she doesn't want to go back out into the community and work after her experiences, and so she would like to have the choice of working in a workshop.
Are they not also including the Maples group too as a possible target as well? Because that's what I heard.
I think they're looking at that. I think Maples, hopefully, because it's small homes, they might pass the test of not being what they call segregated.
Right.
But any larger than 8 people in a home is what I heard.
Right.
That's what they're targeting.
That's what one of the men told us at one of the meetings that we had gone to. Adrienne Loomis came with me to Parma, and we had talked to someone there, and she is the house coordinator for Maples 1, the men's home on Route 20. And that's what somebody had told her too. You may possibly be safe because you're an 8-bed facility, but they are looking at larger ones, trying to get them into smaller homes.
Unbelievable.
So what we heard Thursday night was from some of these people from the state. Now these were people from the state of Ohio, Department of Developmental Disabilities, people with the Employment First. This was a committee that had been formed to try to meet the requirements of what the feds are saying. So what we kept hearing from them over and over and over again was a meaningful day. What they felt that, and what the federal government is saying, that a county program, a workshop, doesn't provide a meaningful day for these people. And I think that's where a lot of the families and the parents are really upset and coming from is, don't tell them what a meaningful day is for their loved ones or for the people that go to the workshop. They were very clear about how they felt, and a bunch of people in Washington and in Columbus that work for the government telling them what they feel a meaningful day is. It just wasn't. Like you said, it was very
different.
Yeah, and so people were really upset.
What happens now? Just for instance, and let's just be hypothetical here. What if they close down Ashcraft? Where do these people then go? I mean, is the government going to provide another place, or are they just saying go out and let them live in the society?
Well, I think what the plan is anyone that's on a waiver, that has this waiver money, that private providers can come in and use that money during the day to take them different places. They describe a day, what they're calling a meaningful day is people going to the library in the morning or going to McDonald's for coffee. These are people that can't work in the community. For everyone else that can work, they want them working in the community. So the people that can't, for various reasons, they're going to drive them, I think, is what the plan is, to drive them around. They go to the library, McDonald's, the YMCA, places like that, what they are calling being inclusive into the community, and being with people that are non-disabled. So the money's going to come from the waivers. There's also a match.
Explain a waiver.
A waiver is money that comes from Medicaid, which is the federal government, that provides, they use that money for day programming, for support in an apartment type living, or maybe just having staff to take you to the store, things like that. I don't really work in that part of the plan, but that's how I understand a waiver.
Okay.
And so and that person decides then how they want to spend that money, that waiver money. And
not everyone is on a waiver.
not everyone, yeah. Some counties put everyone on a waiver because it was a funding stream. Money comes, part of that day money come, if you're a county program, you can get that day money then by serving people on waivers. So when they first came out about 10 years ago, a lot of counties put everyone on a waiver. And anybody that knows anything about the federal government, you know that when you start taking federal dollars, there's a whole lot of strings attached to it. So our county, thanks to our board and our superintendent and our fiscal director, they were a little leery about that. So they put people on waivers as needed. If you needed a waiver, if an emergency for whatever reason, or it was in the best interest of that person, they were able to secure a waiver. But just to put everyone on a waiver, some people have family supports that they don't need that waiver money. So they were a little bit leery of that. So we're in a little bit different situation than a lot of counties, because for a lot of counties with this waiver money and the federal government saying how you're going to be able to spend it, they could be out of business tomorrow if we can't convince Medicaid, CMS, that we can, that we can meet their requirements.
See, it's unfathomable to me to think that these people are saying that people that go to Ashcraft can fit into a regular, like a job. I mean, they have jobs they do out there, but they're special jobs. I mean, I don't see where people are going to employ people that are disabled like this on a big time basis, and I don't see what their thoughts are about taking them around to McDonald's, or how do they know what a quality of life is? They don't live it.
Exactly.
That's what bothers me.
That's what we're fighting for. They have no idea.
And I do want to make a point about your comment, because we do have people that do work in the community. For those that want to, that are ready, that have the skills, we've been able to provide many jobs for people in the community.
Good.
But for some, for physical reasons or just their skill set, that's not an option. And that's where your point comes in. And we believe that for some that can't work in the community, or for whatever reason it's difficult for them to be mobile in the community, they'll sit home. They won't get services.
Right.
That's our fear. And so that's why we want to remain a choice. We want the county board workshop and all of our services to remain a choice for people with disabilities and their families.
You know what gets me is, and I've covered politics a long time, some of these people that have aspirations to move up in the political arena, you'd think that you wouldn't want to mess, because there's a lot of people out there that could really be a negative vote for them on this particular
You're
subject.
absolutely right.
Exactly.
And I think that is some of what we're looking at is now that parents, families, people are coming out and speaking out, they are kind of backing off a little bit, but we believe at Ashcraft that we do it right. We provide choices as far as going out into the community. we do that. We take small groups and go out on field trips and
Let's take
different
this
things.
call, Jan. Hi, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to make a statement about all this.
Sure.
With the federal monies and so on and so forth, the way they spend money, I don't understand why, if, say there's a drug addict, and they can rehab him with federal money, my money, yours,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a choice to take those drugs. And if they rehab him, he also has a choice to either stay clean or go back, and they'll do them again.
Right.
And I'll do this, and the same thing goes for that prison over there. Those people made a choice to go in there, they get rehabbed, they'll even train them, the same as Ashcraft, to do something different when they come out. And again, they have a choice of staying straight or going and commit another crime. Those people at Ashcraft, they didn't have a choice.
Right.
Either have they're challenged either mentally or physically, they don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fair to even for anybody, any government money to be taken from them.
I agree with you.
And everybody votes for Happy Hearts, which they include Ashcraft with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's typical of the government to pick on people that either don't understand or don't have the means to fight them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not right. How anybody could do that is beyond me.
I agree with you.
I mean, it's totally, totally wrong. And I hope they did just forget that. There's more to do. If they have to take things away, take it from the ones that have a choice.
Well said.
Cut back on something at the prison. Quit giving free drugs and other drugs and half drugs to addicts that do have a choice. I mean, it even goes down to smoking. Anything. Why should other people suffer? I mean, it's not right. I hope you ladies get your way. I mean, you deserve it. And so do the people that depend on you.
Very good.
Thank you. We're trying.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks, sir. Bye-bye. That was well put. There are some alternatives here that the girls came in with today. And Jan, I'll turn it over to you. Okay?
Okay, so the state of Ohio is going to submit sometime in March, I believe, their plan to meet the demands of the federal government and the Medicaid services. So until January 23rd this month, we can send comments and let them know how we feel, let the state know as they're developing this plan to submit in March. And you can do it by writing in, you can do it by email, and you can also do it by phone. So I have all that information, but what we're really asking for is everyone, the letters and the cards that Kathy was talking about, that's still important. Those go to the politicians because that's important to
Right.
get them behind us. But what we're asking for now is that you call, write, or email to the state, and I have all that information, and let them know that what you want is the county board workshops to remain a choice for people with disabilities. That's really, really important, and that's, right now, that's our push.
I was going to suggest also maybe you can give that information to Bob and he could post it on his page, which gets a lot of looks. And,
Right.
and
Now we do, since we were here last time, we have started our own Facebook page.
Okay.
I'm
that's
not
fine.
real good on that stuff. I don't
Right.
do a lot of that, but it's called
don't either.
ACBDD Right to Choose. So you can access that on the internet and be a friend, I guess is how you do it. You can also get on there, even if you're not on Facebook. Is that correct? You can get to our Facebook page by it says on my card here. Go to www.facebook.com/pages ACBDD Right to Choose, and somehow you can access it that way also, even if you're not on Facebook.
Right.
But that has all the numbers, the address, everything. But we will put that on.
Yeah, but yeah, the more you get that out there, because
Right.
people aren't going to remember that.
No,
Exactly,
right.
right.
But that's really important right now. We really need help for people to contact. Give your name, your address, and if you have a personal story, if you know someone that attends the workshop, you can mention that. But please, the main thing is that to say that you want the county board workshops to remain a choice for people.
Okay. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm just having an impossible time getting my head wrapped around that phrase, meaningful day.
Yeah, I know.
You're not alone.
We had Down syndrome, of course, and so I'm very familiar with the system over there. He went until he was 22, and then he tested out of Ashcraft, of all things. They had to take a test, and you had to fail 3 parts of it in order to be eligible to even go to Ashcraft. And he only failed 2, which was understanding of money. He knew what money was for, but he didn't understand much about the, living in a real world by himself, let's say. He couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how they think that these people are going to have a meaningful day sitting at home, because that's what's going to happen. And it's going to upset all these families that maybe the only way that their parents can work is because they don't have to stay home with this person.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an ideal situation all the way around to have them like that, so they can work if they want to. And if they can't work, there are activities they do with them. And it's, I think I would pick up that phrase and really work on it if people haven't sent their postcards in yet.
Right.
Because that's the only way they're having a meaningful day is to be in Ashcraft or situations, at least in this county. I don't know what it's like in other counties, but in this county, they've been working on this for years.
Mm-hmm.
And parents and workers there. And they have an excellent program for
I
people.
agree. I agree.
And of course, as the gentleman said, these people are the way they are not through their own doing. They didn't overdose and they didn't drink themselves into oblivion. And I heard Governor Casey speak down in Washington, and he said years ago, all the mental people, they closed all those places and put them out in the public. I'm supposed to have a more meaningful life. And he said, where are they? They're out in the streets or they're in prison. And you pick up the paper almost every day and somebody's killed their parents or their somebody because they haven't taken their medication. And that's, of course, an entirely different situation, but they don't think these things through. They think they're going to save money by doing things like that. And in the long run, it's costing lives and it's costing more money.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's unhappy.
That's for sure.
All right.
So, meaningful goodness.
Yeah.
There's many people sitting at home just watching TV all day, and they think that's a meaningful life, but I don't,
Exactly.
can't see it, just don't understand it.
Okay, Gene. Thanks, Gene. All right.
And she's right. But if you follow politics or you listen to politicians, they will get a hold of a phrase and they'll say it over and over. It's like their talking point.
Right.
And that's what we heard the other night was this meaningful day. They feel that they know what is meaningful, and being out in the community for that's what they're calling a meaningful day. So yeah, I think a lot of us were upset that a bunch of people that are being paid by the government are
Right.
wanting to run with this whole idea and not listen to families and parents. So
Yeah, they're not there. It's just very frustrating to even think that people are thinking in this vein. I've covered, not covered it, but I've been aware of Ashcraft and the Happy Hearts, as it was called a lot in the old days, probably 40 some years, and I've never seen anything bad about that facility. I was glad it was there. It made me feel good that they had a place to go, and be taken care of. And from what I've covered with, I think I've told you, I covered a dance or what they call a mini prom or something there, and the kids were happy. They were. It was just a beautiful sight to see them enjoying themselves in their atmosphere. And to think that that could be taken away from them just sickens me. It really does. I mean, I could really say a lot right now, but I'm trying to hold back a little bit.
And one of my big gripes too is my son, for example, he's going to be 30 in February, and he's been at Ashcraft for 9 years. He loves going to work, and he hates to miss a day. He was upset because we had snow days and he didn't get to go to work. But for him, it's been a great experience, and I really hate to see, you know, something like that happen, and then he won't have anywhere to go. He also tried to work in the public at one point in time, which didn't work out. He got laid off because of our, you know, economical situation at that point, and hasn't been called back. He'd like to go back and, you know, work out there again if, you know, someone was interested in hiring him. But for now, you know, he's very happy working at Ashcraft, and he wants to get up every day and go to work every day like everyone else.
And
he doesn't want to sit home.
He's pretty independent, right? I mean,
He is.
he lives alone. He lives with himself.
He lives with the Maples.
Maples.
On Route 20. It's a home for eight men live there.
Yeah.
And the one thing that upsets me is the government keeps saying they need to get out into the community, they need to get out into the public, but you know, those Maples, they take them out. They go out
They
to
do a
eat
lot.
once a month, they have a breakfast once a month, they have a dinner out somewhere once a month, they go to the Dairy Queen once a month, they see people in the public, they relate to people in the community, they go bowling, they're in Special Olympics, which takes them out of town, they do swimming and track, and they're just very busy. They go to the movies. So I don't understand why the government thinks that they're not
don't
in
get
the
it.
community, because they are.
I just don't get it either, Kathy.
No.
It's unbelievable.
We're fighting as hard as we can, and you know, I hope that we can make a difference, and you know, that these federal people will understand that, you know, this is what we need in our community.
I was going to ask you, just to make it clear, why is there a January 23rd deadline on that particular campaign that you're talking about?
That's the date that the state has set where they're going to quit taking comments from the public.
Oh,
And
they're
then
telling us they won't take any.
they won't take any more comments after that, and then they're going to sometime in March. From January 23rd until they present their proposal to the federal government, they are going to look at the comments, kind of, you know, go through everything, and then
Do a summary of it.
summary of everything. So this comment page right now is really, really important.
Yeah, it's crucial.
Yeah, and people have to. The good thing is, if you don't want to write, you don't want to send an email, you can call. That's what's really good.
Do you have a phone number?
Yes, I do. The phone number is 1-800-364-3153. It's a toll-free number, and you would leave a voicemail. You have to leave your name, I'm assuming, and where you're from,
Right.
and just say that you are in support of the county board workshops remaining a choice for people with disabilities. You can say more than that, but that's
Right.
really important.
Gotcha.
And just like, you know, the last caller was saying about our workshop, and, you know, for people to go there, there is a test that the state requires that we give an individual when they come and they fill out an application and they want to come to our program. There is a test that the state requires that we administer, and they have to meet certain parts of that test to even be eligible. So to come to our program, you know what I'm saying, they have to be, there's an eligibility requirement to even get in. So their level of disability.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like I had said before, for anyone that wasn't listening last time we were on, Ohio is different than any other state. We're very unique because we have the county board program. About 60 years ago, parents got together that had nowhere for their children to go to school. That's what it was started through the school age kids. And then about 45 years ago, throughout the state of Ohio, parents lobbied the legislature. And about 45 years ago, the county board program was formed through our legislature, and the Ohio Revised Code sets standards that we have to follow. No other state has a county board program like ours. And around this, I believe it's about 90,000 people that are served in Ohio, people with disabilities. And I've talked to people that have family that live in other states where they have, I've heard story after story where people live in Texas, New York, different places, and there is no organized program for their loved one with a disability. So we're unique, we're different, and we've been doing it for over 45 years.
And it's working.
And it works. And trust me, the state is constantly coming up with hoops that we have to jump through to meet.
What else is new?
Yeah. So, but we've always met them, and even with this, with providing more opportunities, we believe we do that at Ashcraft. Like I talked about before, in our building we have many jobs that people do that are minimum wage jobs. We have a shredding business that we started. We have our greenhouse and our store.
Been there, yeah.
So there's many opportunities that we feel that we provide. We feel like we're doing this right. So we just hope that the public will continue to support our program and appreciate the support so far, that's for sure.
So you think that meeting you went to last Thursday was progress?
Yes, I think it was, and there were over 300 people there in attendance, so it was great. The weather wasn't that good, and it was great to see so
Right.
many people come out to fight
Yeah, I was going to say that was a
for it.
bad day.
It was.
But the one speaker for the CMS committee said that the next step now is for the committee to go out to the sites and visit the sites. And I really am hoping that they do, and I hope they get to all the sites. I hope they get to Asheville County and they come and see what we do at Ashcraft, and they can really, sit down and realize what we're doing and how good it is and how much it works compared to other places.
I agree. I think that I think you really pulled in some momentum since the last time we chatted, because when it first came to my attention, this lady was she was just so upset that she hardly could talk, and that's when we started looking into this thing. I had Bob look into it as well, and it was just amazing to me. This came out of nowhere to me. I had no idea this was happening. Of course, you girls probably been around this, so you know, obviously, what was transpiring. But this lady I talked to, it was terrible. I mean, she was just wanted to get the word out so bad, and she goes, I haven't seen anything in the newspapers yet or anything like that. So, and it has lately come out.
Right. There still are a lot of people that are unaware also. I've talked to several people in the last week or so that said, I had no idea.
Really?
Yes. And so we just keep trying to reach out every avenue we can think of to let the people know, because I don't think they wanted us to know. We just kind of fell on it.
That's what I
we ran with it once we did.
That's what I kind of picked up too, that it was kind of like...
Yeah, they're trying to slide it under
Slide
the
it,
radar, and we aren't going to let it happen.
Good.
If we can't help
Good.
it.
Well, so, let's take this call. But before I do, I just want to mention, come back anytime, and we'll keep
Thank
this
you.
on the forefront here. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm calling back.
That's okay.
It's really got me boiling.
Mm-hmm.
But how can the federal government pass laws and whatever to provide for the handicapped, whether it's parking, restrooms, so on and so forth, and then turn around and take it away from the handicapped? I don't understand this at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I know.
it's law, you have to provide the parking. They're forcing stores and odds and ends or whatever to provide all this for handicapped and then take it away.
Yep.
Like I said, I wish there's got to be a better way.
There should be, huh?
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I
Alrighty.
appreciate the call, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah, used to live
Now,
in it.
when we were at the forum on Thursday night in Cleveland, I did notice that Sherrod Brown had sent 2 of his staffers there to observe and get more information. We have met with them back in November. State Representative John Patterson, he's the one that brought Director Martin out to Ashcraft to meet with us. And I did speak with him. I was hoping he might be able to join us today, but he's already back in Columbus.
Yeah.
So, and then this Thursday we are going to Columbus to speak. It's a public hearing for these comments, to receive comments at the hearing. I believe that might be the Senate, the state Senate. It's in Columbus. So we're going to that, and maybe after that we can come back on and,
Okay.
and update. Some of us have gotten letters from Senator Capri Cafaro.
Yeah.
She's
How about David Joyce, Congressman?
Someone did, but I haven't been able to speak with him.
He's very good.
So we need to reach out to him also. But the first hurdle that we're working on is through the state house. And but I do think that at the federal level, that's also a concern, and how they view this waiver money and the federal money that's coming out. You know, they want to have a say in how you spend it. So.
I know.
So we're,
And I could understand if it's 100% funded by the federal government, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And in Ashtabula County, you know, that's what the levies do. The levies provide a good percentage of that money that the federal government doesn't have to dish out to us.
Right.
72 or 73% of our budget at Ashtabula County Board of Developmental Disabilities is local levy tax dollars. That's a huge amount. And that speaks volumes for our county and the people, the voters of our county, and how they support our program. And we don't take that out there. I know that I can speak for our board and the administrators that we don't take that for granted. We are good stewards of that money. And like I said, last time we were on here, I can't remember the last time that we actually went to the voters and asked for new money. You know, we go and we ask for our renewals,
Right.
but and the county's always been supportive of that. And we encourage county taxpayers and people to come to our program for a tour. We always have an open house in March, and we usually have free shredding, or I think it's up to a certain amount. It's free shred week, so you'd be surprised how many people come and bring their shredding.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's really, and they watch, you know, make sure it gets shredded. But we don't take any of that for granted. I mean, and like I said, the taxpayers in Ashtabula County have always supported us. So, and we're really asking for your help now with this comment.
I'm sure you'll get help, as you can tell by the gentleman that called twice,
Right.
that it really affected him learning about this. So
Right.
good luck in your campaign here.
Thank you. I will drop a copy of these information for the Facebook and for the phone calls by January 23rd at both of the libraries. So if you didn't get it
Good,
and you don't
yeah.
see it on the TV, if you can get to the library will have that information for you. And
Right.
Okay. All right. Good luck.
thank you very much,
Thanks,
Pat.
Good luck. Come
We
back and see
appreciate
us again. We want to keep this, as I said before, in front of the public.